Welcome aboard, everyone. Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street. We've got Bepro in front of us right now. So let's jump straight into this actually. So the previous video, we talked about the 1 cent or 1.1 cent mark being a critical level of support. And what we've done in the last, well, probably about 4 or 5 days now since the last video. What was interesting is we actually kind of got a rejection at that 1.1. So as we mentioned, that was an interesting area to think about. We had the retracement. And we've had this come down, but what's quite interesting is the 1 cent mark is very much a big resistance level here. Now, I just want to reiterate that point. So here, for example, between the 9th and the 13th of October, you can see these drop downs in the wicks and also the candle's lowest areas. They're very much floating just above that 1 cent mark, irrespective of the couple of touch points slightly below them. Now, this one was literally touching, for example, 13th of October, just above 1 cent. But since then, we've had this correction because probably a bit of profit taking, to be honest, because we're at that kind of like minimal level where people are looking at like day trades and 4-hourly trades quite a bit on this particular project. But we've come down on a number of occasions, particularly here on the 19th. We've had some touch points again on the 1 cent and literally a couple of dip downs below that 1 cent mark. And they've all kind of been rejected. So they've come down quite far to that 9.7. I think that's 0.0097, sorry. That's always a sweet spot number in my opinion, whether it be 97 cents or 0.97. It always seems to be quite a psychological number, and that's because people don't like the rounded ones, right? They try to find numbers that are slightly lower or slightly higher than a specific rounded element. So I'm massively distracted. A huge black cat has gone past the window. Is that good luck or bad luck? I can't remember. Let's hope it's good luck for Bepro. But anyway, so back to the topic, we've got this element here of today. So we're very close. I don't know what the actual date is, but we're very close to that conversation around the mainnet launching. Now, currently it's at a public testnet. It's open to developers, operators, and I believe Bepro holders in some aspects as well. Probably need to do a bit of a video on that, but by the time I've already done it, maybe the mainnet will launch. I'm not sure. But there is argument to say that the mainnet is arguably supposed to be launched this year, as in 2021. But there's always a chance that, because of testnets, that's the whole point of testing and trialing the systems, it might be delayed to next year. I'm not sure. But I'm not sure if that's a massive intake on today's element of the price spike. I think that's just general momentum because of this encouragement of this 1 cent mark. And it's almost like we're really trying to confirm that as a tick-off point. And that will kind of be arguably really confirmed, in my opinion, in the next few days. Why do I think that? Well, you see here, we touched this top point here at 0.012 earlier today. So that's our highest point today. And we've had some struggles in those areas quite recently as well, up here on the 13th, 14th, 15th, where we tried to spike up even further. It's completely rejected. But equally, there was still some momentum around here. So it's quite interesting that we got up to this level again. Clearly, people have taken profits because they perhaps had orders around here and just thought, what, I'm just going to leave it in there for the next time. And it's just quite evident when you really look at it into a macro level, what goes on a daily basis. Quite interesting, the psychology behind it. So what I'm interested in is if we come back down to these areas. Now I've drawn in this area here. This is actually my personal box that I've put some USDT into KuCoin right now to just try and grab some Bepro on this way down. Now there's an argument to say it might just stay where it is or maybe push up a bit higher. Who knows? But I'm just going in at a cheeky level here. It might even do it while I'm sat here on this video. That'd be funny. 0.0115 and the lower part of just slightly over the 1 cent mark. Why have I done that? Because I'm really intrigued by these elements around sort of 11th, 12th of October, literally around here on the 18th as well, and floating around 2021. So it's quite an interesting area that we may potentially drop down. But I'm also interested in this support area on the fib retracement on the long term, as well as the macro level as well. So that's why I'm trying to perhaps grab a bit before it hits that level, because we've had this retracement pretty much. I'd be amazed if we fly above this even further today, but we've had the retracement. It almost looks like we're trying to attack this area. Now, if we get a close today and over the next maybe 2-3 days over this, arguably this area of 0.0114-ish, which will kind of, like we said, entail this area that's been sort of spiked up and down on a number of occasions over the last couple of weeks. we could start pushing up to try and test this next level at the 0.012 mark. But I'm not going that far ahead just yet until I know that this 1 cent area is 100% confirmed as a support line, and I think we'll guarantee that almost in the next week or so, just in anticipation of whether we come back down to here and it gets rejected, we come back down or not. So there's two levels, this area here and this area here. Okay, so if we get rejected here, I can imagine us pretty much coming down to around these areas again, as we've seen previously recently. And bear in mind as well, historically in Bepro, these have been quite interesting touch points as well. If you look across the board, like for example here, 6th, 7th, 13th, 14th of August, and we've had loads of traction and closes around those areas or openings on those areas as well. So that's why I've kind of drawn that box in. It's not just because of the last week or so, it's because of historic data as well. So I'm really excited to see what happens with Bepro as the mainnet launch comes in. I think this is showing really good confidence. Right, let's just pull out for a second, because a lot of people are saying Bepro's not moving. I don't understand why I keep saying that. We've gone in the beginning of October from an opening of around 0.006. That's a 96% jump to our previous highest point here on the 15th. We had a bit of correction. We're on our way back up again. So I don't know why people keep saying that Bepro is not moving. It is if you take the chart out, for sure. And I'm really excited about this project. I do think in my mind it can still get to a 20 cent mark. Let us know what you think in the comments below. I think we could have potential exchange listings, maybe not necessarily this year, but certainly in the next few months, hopefully. But what I'm more intrigued about is this mainnet, because I do think that will give a lot more confidence to people. I think a lot of people are still umming and ahhing around these kind of prices on the chart and what is actually Bepro turning into, or what is it right now. And right now it's in a test mechanism. I fully believe in its potential. I know a couple of projects personally, like the people that work for these kind of projects, that are using Bepro as a, the SDK model and stuff like that for the actual development and coding perspective of building their own platform. So I know of its potential and what kind of projects it's related to. So I have no fuss about that. I'm holding Bepro a long time. I'm accumulating on any kind of nice dips that I see. And I have been staking with KuCoin, which has been fantastic as well. I think that's come to an end now. But keep an eye on this one, guys. I think there's a great opportunity to still battle into this. Don't go too much in the fact that, I missed out these lower points, because I think Bepro is going to have a great run this year, and arguably into next year as well, before a potential bear market. But I just wanted to put a few people's minds at ease, in the sense that Bepro is moving. You've got to be patient sometimes. It doesn't have to always move on the way up in a parabolic moves all the time. But keep an eye on their social media for that mainnet piece of news as well. I'm just going to zoom in as well on this MACD here in this section. So we've had a bit of a sell-off period, but look at that nice pale red that we've got currently. I'm saying currently because it's not the end of the day yet. And it's almost like, again, proving our point about the belief in Bepro. If we can turn this around quickly, that's a very substantial and bullish move in my opinion, because then if we start getting pale greens again, that's going to be a fantastic involvement into this project. And look at that nice spike up. It's almost like a rejection of wanting to go down further. If we can maintain that, like I said, in the next 2-3 days, and get that like narrowed gap a bit more, or even a touch point across the MACD, a nice little crossover, literally pinpoint to pinpoint, I think we could start seeing some really good moves on Bepro up to some really nice previous levels. We're nowhere near, obviously, the previous all-time high yet of 0.047. So that just kind of, again, engages the argument that we've got a long way to go. There's plenty of opportunity. Even if you've missed these previous lower points, I still personally think, not financial advice, but any area under 5 cents for Bepro is an absolute steal. The RSI, guys, before we gently end this video, around about 60 mark, there's plenty of room in the tank. We're in a nice positive mood the last 48 hours, if you can see it. Why do they put these stupid buttons in the middle? Like, this is my middle focal point, and they put sodding buttons there when I'm trying to do things. Anyway, I'll have a complaint ready. But as you can see on the RSI, I'm not going to hover around so you can actually see it properly. So yes, we're around about 60, plenty of room in the tank. And also, finally, like Bepro is showing some even more positivity on these indicators here. And I think, in my mind, when this 6-month one goes to green, which it hasn't done for a while because we had that kind of down spiral, like with majority of charts around that sort of May, June time, that starts turning green, I think psychologically, so people who use these kind of systems, and particularly in other portals and stuff, will see that. And psychologically, green, I'm telling you guys, has a massive effect on things. There's so many people that jump onto an exchange and they go at the bottom of their screen and it goes, oh, what are the biggest gainers? Oh, wow, that's massively green. I'm going to jump in. This is how sometimes you have like the organic movement of growth in a market. You have about the news and the awareness, of course. And then you have the FOMO in and the psychological behavior. So in my mind, we're in a very strong mechanism here. It's almost like we're ready to do something with Bepro, in my opinion. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But I think Bepro is on the verge of doing some nice move upwards. And then people are going to complain that they didn't get any in the lower regions. Instead of going, oh, it's not moving, I'm quitting, and holding tight. Hold, guys. Honestly, just it's going to be massive. So, guys, wrapping this up, 2,500% up year to date. People say Bepro's not moving. 56% up on the month, 100% up on 3 months, and 9%. This is great. A nice positive green for once in the Bepro weekly. And 6 months is gradually going to switch over to green. Let's go. That's Bepro. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next Bepro update video. Bye-bye.